Guys, how did you get into boxing? What were the early days like?
Well, I'll let him start because he's a bit older than me. Back in the day.
I got into boxing, I actually remember the night very well. I was 11. I was playing football in the street and it started to rain. But a few of my friends boxed and they had their school bags on, walking down the street. I was like, where are you going? They were down to boxing. He toned down for me. Nah, I don't like boxing, it's a bit too rough for me. So I went down anyway, it was raining. I remember it was a Wednesday night and I liked it. And on that Sunday, the coach asked me to fight. So my first fight in like 4 days, I've only boxed 4 days, I had my first fight. And I lost. Actually, the person who beat me, he's still a good friend of mine to this day, you know, left from West Belfast. But after that there, like the following weekend, I used to go down to a fishing village in County Down called Arglass, where my uncle had a club and my cousins used to box. And I just stayed down there every weekend and boxed with my cousins, and ever since then I'm down every weekend and trained and just fell in love with the sport.
For me, my brothers started boxing and I just wanted to do what they were doing. So I went to the gym. My dad brought me to the gym with Emmons, and the coach at the time, I was there for about a week, and the coach at the time told me that I was too young. I was only 7. So I had to leave, and I was devastated. I was crying. And my dad said I had to go. So he was in that club anyway, so my dad was with Emmons and the boys were there. But I ended up going to Conor Boxing Club, the club I'm actually back in now. And from there on, from 7 till 10, it was just touching 10. I was fighting there just in the amateur, like non-registered fights. And I was just natural to me, it came natural, and I was beating loads of people, I never lost. And then when the old coach seen me, he says he'd get him back, so I had to go back to that club because my brothers were there, and I was delighted to go back. But you know, if I look back on it now, I wish I had stayed at my own club. You know, the club that took me on first. So
you had a fairly successful start. Paddy, if you don't mind me saying, your start didn't seem to go so well in terms of wins and losses. Did you lose your first dozen, is that right?
Yeah, it was noted it was my first 15, I may have said that, but it was my first 12 because I actually added them up. You know, but taking into consideration, like, I started boxing on a Wednesday and had my first fight that Sunday and fought like a few weeks after that. But you know, it wasn't as if I getting beat up all the time. They were close fights, but I lost them, and people question why I still stuck at the sport.
Was that what kept you going back then? Not just your love of the sport, but the fact that you thought, even in the early days, you were close to winning these fights? Yeah,
they were close fights, and plus I think one of the main reasons I stayed because, as I say, I was down at my uncle's every weekend. My cousins boxed, so it was only...
He was made box?
It was more or less not made the box, but because they done it, I wanted to copy them because they're older than me. I looked up to them and I just wanted to copy them. So because they done it, I done it, and it just kept me at it.
Training is different now, obviously, given the level you're operating at. What was it like back in the early days? What were you doing, training at a young age?
At a young age, I remember, you know, doing 2-mile runs. I've seen like about 40 miles, and doing weights in the ring and all. Like with 2 kilos in each hand, and it felt like 10 kilos each hand. You know, when you're younger, it's different training. Whatsoever now, where like it's very scientific. You know, everything's planned out for you. Whereas as in the olden days, as you could say, you know, it was quite different.
I just remember 3 nights a week, you know, Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, always having to go to the gym, and I just loved to go and fight people and hit people, like in sparring. I would always like stuck my tongue out, you know, and laugh at people. Like I was just a wee like, but you know, that's the way it was like. But I just loved the fight from a young age, and the 3 nights a week was just on. You were in hitting bags, and then you were through in sparring. Everybody was put in sparring. And people were getting out crying, but I was getting out laughing. I mean, I was always sparring the bigger ones, the heavier ones, because it was so fast in movement and it was just natural to me.
Do you remember the first punch that you received that you thought, oh, you know, I'm not sure about this?
Me? No, I was never... I was always, you can't hit me kind of stuff with me. I was always trying not to get, so I can't actually remember the first time I was hit, but I'm sure Paddy would be able to tell you about 100 times he was hit. Look at the big nose on him.
I remember actually getting when I was training my cousin's club, I boxed there. I used to have to spar my cousin, Francis Linden. Like, he used to bother me every weekend. He used to bother me. I used to cry in the ring, but I used to tell him, well, what's wrong with your eyes? Say, oh, I got an anaphylaxis and hay fever, tears in my eyes, but I would never like that on. You know, so I remember I actually made me want to quit boxing, the beating I took, but it made me who I am today.
How did you come to know each other?
Well, when Paddy was in the Olympics, you see, I always watched the Olympics from 2000 or Athens, one of the two. It was the Sydney Olympics or the Athens Olympics, and boxing was always watched in our house. So I was always saying I want to be here, I want to be there. And when 2008 came up, I was 16, and I seen Paddy in the Olympics, and I was like, yeah, I was cheering for him and all. I wanted him to win, I wanted him to do Ireland proud. And but I was at the same time, I was like, I'd beat him. I mean, he's not a lot to stay to him. He's shite. And I was telling everybody and all, anybody who would have listened to me, I was saying, I'll beat Paddy Barnes easy. I'll be his weight next year when I turn senior. I'll beat him. And the opportunity came up that I could go over and spar him, because I was training for, I don't know, it was the seniors. Actually, I was meant to enter seniors the year before, and I couldn't because I ended up having pneumonia, so I ended up moving up weight. And I went up to 52 kilos, so I wasn't fighting him. So I got to go and spar him. And I remember getting to this club, and I was just big angry face on me. I was like, I'm not even looking at this Egypt. No, I'm going to bother him here. I'm just going to go out to kill him. And he came over and tried to shake my hand, and I just turned my back to him. And this was in his own club. I was like, I'm not giving him no respect. And I remember getting into the ring. First round, I was boxing. I was doing all right. And it was the first times I was doing 3-minute rounds. And I was doing all right in the first round. I was boxing, hit him. Next round, I was knackered because he just had me moving the whole round. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running like mad. He beat the shit out of me. He beat the life clean out of me, and I was just like, oh no, what's going on here? And I was blocking, and he hit me hard, and he was trying to tear it into me. And I just kept running. I got a spar, and I was raging. Shook his hand and all after, but I was raging, didn't want to speak to him for ages. And then after that I just ended up becoming friends with him.
Paddy, do you remember that? Do you remember, what do you remember of Michael coming, as he said, to your club, and Michael fancying himself coming there?
Yeah, it was weird. I obviously knew who he was, his name, because I'm a big fan of boxing, all levels, senior boxers and everybody.
Now, you hadn't met before this, had you?
No, never really met before, no. I knew his brother very well too, and my coach said, yes, before a young kid come over to spar you, Mick come with me, Mick, yeah, I know him. So I come down, during the day, there was nobody about in the club, and I walked in. His back to me, and I'll put my bag up to his bag, I said, all right, and he went look at me with his crack. He just when he tried to talk to him, I tried to put nothing up to the youngs and get in the ring. And he was a mover, not like a face now, he's just a constant mover. He's running away, and me, there's a few more rounds to go here, you get tired. And that was it. And I was laughing after. But then after the spar, he talked to me, showed respect and all too, so after that we became friends.
You were okay beyond that?
After that,
Did it take a little bit to get over it first?
For me, he was all right. I was happy to talk to him and listen to him, and ask the face off him, because he was always willing to give a face from no age, So I was listening to him and all, but I was like, I know I could beat him. I beat him for one round there. He's just fitter. He's fitter. But I just learned that he was like that all the time. It's not that he's fitter. He's just a natural machine. He just doesn't stop. So I took that from him, and I learned off him. After that, there we ended up on the Commonwealth Games team together, and it was just everything he was doing. I was sparring him, and we were mashing each other and sparring. And for us two sparring, it was like the best sparring you could have asked for, because people were actually paid to watch it, I think, because we were just going to war, and it was absolutely all out, non-stop punching and stuff. And he made me who the fighter I am today. He made me that person who's able to fight and box, because before I started sparring with him, I was just a complete mover, as he said. So fighting him and sparring with him brought me on to who I am, you know what I mean? So
you raised each other's levels, you think?
Definitely, especially before the London Olympics. We're sparring each other flat out, and the spars were like fights, and it improved me, and as he says himself, it improved himself, so we both helped each other at the London Games.
What about the Belfast scene? Because it's got such a good reputation in terms of amateur boxing. Was there a feeling growing up that if you could conquer the Belfast scene, that the rest would almost take care of itself?
The boxing in Belfast, there was so much in Belfast at the minute. County Antrim has as a whole, has loads of talent.
Yeah, from my mum's house, there's like 15 clubs in a 5-mile radius or something. So, it's massive. It's huge. From a young age, I thought, to be honest, I never lost in Antrim or Ulster until I lost in the Ulsters when I was in one of my seniors, and it was hard done by. So it was never a case of conquering Belfast. It was always Dublin for me. Yeah. But Belfast was massive. It was just because I was later. I never really had as much people on my weight, if you know.
Well, for me, if it was conquering Belfast, I can never get rid of Antrim or Belfast to take it Dublin. I was always getting beat. But the people who beat me are still boxing today. Conor Frampton, he's beat me 3 times. He's one who was the one who's beat me. So and doing me away from getting a national title. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like people who are terrible who beat me.
You mentioned Dublin. Coming down to the National Stadium, what age were you when you first boxed here? Do you remember the fight? What was the experience like?
I was 11, and it was my first All-Ireland. It was my first year in competition boxing, so I was nervous. I won the Ulster novices, Ulster's Antrim novices, Antrim, so I was undefeated, and I was still undefeated from since the turn boxing. And I remember coming in, I won my semi-final, but I fought my final against a kid called Leon Lynch. I don't know what he's at today, but he was a very, very good fighter. He won a good lot of ice heels after, but he was a complete, like me, out and out counter puncher, just wouldn't come forward. So I just had to wait on him completely. That was my tactic, waiting him. I think it was like 3-1, or it was like one of the silly low scores, like, or 1-0 or something.
Two guys waiting on each other.
Just waiting. 5-4 it was, and I remembered winning. It was just like the best feeling ever, because my other brother was fighting after me, or Brenton. But Jamie had won an Irish title a week before or something, so it was like history or something at the time. 3 Irish titles in the same week or something, so by brothers. But the feeling of doing it was amazing, and then as I was undefeated as well, you know, that made a bigger fall when I had my first loss in the following year in the Ireland, because I won everything again. I got the Ireland final and I lost by a point, and I felt like my world came crashing down. I was like, oh, no. And Tommy McCarthy, I tell you, if you ever speak to him, I sat up in that corner, and he was sitting asking people, why is he crying for? Like, he only lost. It was my first loss, and I was sitting there crying my eyes out. You know what I mean? I was only a kid.
Paddy, your first experience of fighting in the stadium?
You know, I remember since I was 11 till 14, you needed to qualify for the Antrim and Ulster to get down to Dublin, but I could never do it. I was always getting beat the stages in Antrim. So for me, the fight in Dublin at the Irish Championships was my Olympics. I always wanted to fight in this ring, you know. So when I was 15, I got that chance, and I was doing the semi-final against the current Irish champion, Kevin Fennessy. He beat me. It was a brilliant fight, but he beat me, and he went on to do very well as well. But the year after, when I was 16, I got down again. That was one of my first titles, the Irish title against Glenn Murray from Dublin. You know, so that's when my career, I think, for me, started off after that first Irish title win when I was 16.
Was that Kevin Fennessy from Clonmel?
Yes.
I think I was actually at that. I think I remember that.
It probably was, yeah.
Yeah. A few years ago now.
Two ginger kids. Not ginger now, like obviously brown hair, but back in the day it was a bit rare.
Who were your boxing idols growing up? Who did you look up to?
My dad used to watch the likes of Brera and Morales, so probably their trilogy of fights. That's the only boxing I really looked to. I never looked up to any boxer specifically, you know. So just the Brera and Morales trilogy. That's what I think I'll watch.
It kind of fits with your personality, doesn't it? Because you do your own thing.
Seems, and plus the same sort of style too they had. Like, this was I trying to incorporate as well. But you know, I really do just do my own thing. As Michael said, he watched the Olympics. I didn't even know what the Olympics were when I qualified. I didn't even want to go because China seems too far away. You know what I mean? So I didn't really care about the Olympics. But
glad you went now.
I'm glad I went now. Obviously, you know. But it's strange. It's strange by the way things go.
What about you, Michael? Because obviously, as you said, your brothers were fighters. Was it them that you looked up to, or did you look further afield?
Well, Jamie, I always looked up to Jamie because he was the oldest, you know. Me and Brenton always fought with each other, so I never really looked at it as like I'm better than you, know, kind of. But professional ways, I always watched Nas, and my house hated Nas except me. They all wanted when Brewer beat him. They were all over the moon. I was raising. I love Nas. Just the way he fought, the entrances, everything about him, his bravado. He was just a fantastic character for the sport, and he could punch like a horse too. So, you know, it was always interesting watching him. And when he went down, he got back up and he went back at it. So, I love watching him and the Morales Brewer trilogies. But, you know, everybody would say Muhammad Ali because he's the hero of boxing and the greatest, as they say. But it was just Nas and all for me. I never really looked far back as Ali and Leonard and stuff. But now I do.
London 2012, Michael, it was your first Olympics. Paddy, as you said, your second after Beijing. Kenny Egan, Darren Sutherland medalled as well. Was it much different second time around for you?
Yeah, because I had more experience. I knew what I was going into. And plus, for me, it was a better Olympic because it was closer to home. Even though I was friendly with the whole team back then, it was even closer with Michael and Alan Nolan and Navin and like the whole team were such a close unit. You we're with each other all the time, and it's more friendly. And
You had another northerner on the team for
no,
for once,
they're
eh?
from Belfast. But,
So you could talk is Paddy Barnes English?
so people understand me. Hopefully people understand me in this show and try to talk the slowest. No, but it was good in a way because we're so close and we're friends inside the ring. It made it better because, you know, it was more of a relaxed atmosphere, and, you know, it just made everything better because we were a closer knit team. Not saying we weren't in Beijing, we were. You know, Kenny, he was my mentor. You could say when I was going to boxing, but it was just because we're more closer and more friendly, and made the games more easy.
Looking ahead, the Chinese fighter who denied you twice a shot at fighting for a gold medal, he's gone professional now. So who are you looking at as your biggest threats going forward?
Yeah, thankfully he's out of the way. You know, some promoter just took pity on me and signed him up. But I really think for Rio, the only person that can beat me and the only person who will give me problems is Paddy Barnes. You know, I really believe that this is my year to take the gold medal. You know, I'm not the best. I've beat all these boys before. If my mind's right and the train's right, you know, there's no reason why I can't win gold. And that's not just saying that. It's a realistic target.
Michael, is it the same for you? Because you'll be going there as a favourite as well.
I know I've won gold. You know, it sounds stupid saying that now, thinking I'm overconfident in that, but I'm not. I really believe that I've already done it. In my head, I've seen it happen. I've seen it. I went through it. I've held the medal. I've stood on the podium. I've shown my baby the medal. So it's all played in my head already. So now I just have to go and live it. But I really do believe I'll go there. I know there's tough opponents, but as Paddy says, the only person that'll beat me is myself. Because on my day, not one person in the world will touch me. Not the best in the world, not the greatest ever. Never, none of them will touch me. I know I'll be there on top of that podium, and I believe we'll be making history in Rio.
The World Series of Boxing came on board, maybe to a bit of a mixed reaction, but it offered a route to the Olympics. It also meant, though, that you guys were fighting regularly, but it was a grueling schedule, an awful lot of travelling, an awful lot of time away from family and friends as well. But this is the route you saw. This is the way to go. Yeah,
initially, we were given the opportunity of qualifying for the Olympic Games by April, and a year out from the Olympic Games. So it was an extra chance. Qualifying for the Olympic Games was so tough, so we took it with both hands. And we were drafted by the Italian Thunder. It was 7 fights every fortnight, all around the world. 14 weeks it took, it was so grueling. Like, travelling, I hated it. I hated it. It was the worst experience of my life.
He hates flying, is he?
Oh, you do?
I remember...
Not a good flyer?
We were flying to Kazakhstan, the fight in Kazakhstan. And we were in Heathrow Airport or some airport in London, and I was nearly crying. I didn't want to go here. And I was like, I might just get a flight home to Belfast now. Because Celtic were playing at the Milan. Yeah. And these boys are home now, and I go home with Evans. But I was in the plane, I was sitting there, like, I didn't really tell them this here, but I was sitting in the front of the plane. Because the girl said there's seats in there, and I lay her, and there was tears, I didn't crying, but there was tears in my eyes. It was like a big minibus, and midair, the noise and all, I was like, I'm going to die here. I'm going to die, and I'm dehydrated and starving. I make us get something to eat, because I'm going to die anyway. I actually thought I was going to die. And it was just...
What was your last meal in your head then? What did you have? Did they give you some crackers?
No, I had a pack of Skittles. First meal in 3 days, a pack of Skittles. Which I probably shouldn't have eaten. But anyway, for obviously qualifying the Olympic Games was a brilliant moment in my career, but the WSB was probably one of the most traumatic and worst experiences in my life.
It was a lot to fight, as you said, 7 fights in 14 weeks. Were you prepared for that?
Well, my first fight, no, because I was only coming back after breaking my thumb. That's why the real reason why I didn't enter the Irish Championships was because I wanted the WSB, so I couldn't compete in the rest of the Irish Championships. But I couldn't compete in them anyway because as it started, my thumb was still in cast, and I'd only got out of cast, and I had a few spars, but I was physically fit because we were doing a lot of training, a lot of road work and stuff. But for sparring ways, I wasn't. But after the first fight, we were just flying. That was just the foot down, pedal to the metal, and go. And I felt in great shape after that. And the first fight, I kind of learned a lot. My first fight, it would have been my third fight in WSB, at the 5 rounds, and it was coming back from injury, so I wasn't prepared at the start, no, but mentally, we were always prepared.
How different was it from what you were used to, though? Because, you know, there are different times, there's different rules, there's all the travelling, there's all that to get used to.
To be honest, it's brilliant. So it is. I thought it was unbelievable. Like, you're fighting on like proper professional shows. You're not fighting in the Europeans where you're fighting in a PE hall in front of 10 people. You're fighting at big shows which are on local TV, professional entrants, you know, shorts on, no vest on, you know, proper professional setup. 5 rounds was even better. Like, I need more rounds. Like 3 rounds is fast-paced amateur boxing. I liked obviously the fast pace, but I like more rounds, like, because I know I'm fitter than the other guy, so I can get on top more. You know what I mean? But just the way it's operated, it's far better.
What about those little simple things? Because you wonder, sometimes boxers have routines and they can be a bit superstitious, they want to do things their way. So the fact that something simple like, you know, no vest, does that get inside your head a little bit?
No, that doesn't bother us. The simple things that were bothering us was our bags go missing on the flight. We never got our bags. We a few times in that competition, we got to a point where we went, "Mom, we'll just pull out here." We actually said to each other in the room, "I feel like just pulling out." You know what I mean?
You had that conversation.
It's not worth it here, is it? Like, but at the end, it actually is worth it. But at that time, we were sitting saying to each other, I feel like death here, making weight. I don't think I can do this. And I'm watching him. I start to make the weight as it goes on more. I'm making it easier, and he's still fighting hard. And I'm watching him going down and training in saunas and come back up and talking to him and just getting answers like this.
Nothing coming back.
I just can't talk. I don't want to talk to people.
Wouldn't speak. So like it was hard at the end stages, and I was seeing the trauma he was going through doing it, and then me come back from injury and losing fights and having to worry about are the results coming my way. I was like, geez, this is it's not worth it. It's not worth all this worry. And I have baby coming at the same time, so I was like, I have bigger things to worry about than Olympics and WSB. I have a family. So
how close did you come to actually saying, no, we've enough of this?
On the fight where our bags went missing.
The second fight.
The second fight.
Where was that?
Italy, in our home at the time. We were fighting. Where was it?
It was in Palermo.
Palermo.
In Sicily.
Sicily, and our bags didn't turn up, and then they were telling us that they're here, and then they were telling us they weren't here. But the night before that, we had no gear to train, and we were both making it tight on weight, and so I had to go out in the city and look for training gear with my dad, who was the coach who was on every trip with us. He was the only one who came with us at all of them, and an Italian girl. And we went around all sports shops, and we didn't think we were going to get the sweat gear which we needed. As soon as it turned up, he turned and we went, "Oh, now we have to fight," because he knew he had to make a weight then, because if we have that there, he has no excuse. But we were very close that time. I think that was probably the closest you were, was it? To quitting.
Definitely.
But the closest I came to quitting was in Venezuela. No, the last fight. I needed a result to go my way.
Yeah.
And it was 2 fights, so I needed one of the results going ahead. The guy who was top was fighting against Puerto Rico. He beat me in my first fight, which I definitely could have beat him, but you know, I was coming back from injury. And the next guy was the Russian who was fighting Ukraine. In Ukraine, and I was like, everything was going on at the minute. This is my time. And it popped up on the screen, Ukraine won. And then the boys who were watching it, because my brother Jamie Ryman says, Ukraine won, it's up on the screen, Ukraine's won. But the fight hadn't even happened yet. It was an hour before. I was like, why is it coming up, Ukraine's won? Then I was next door, and they says the Russians won. I just went mental, but I started throwing things in the hotel room, probably with a hotel bill. But I started throwing things across the room. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was cursing, I was going mental, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't cry, and I felt like crying. I couldn't cry because he was in the room. And I was sitting there.
Him off.
Yeah.
This is off the wind,
so he's all right. But I was devastated. It was the night before the fight. I'd weighed in though. I was like, I have no chance. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go out tomorrow. I'm not fighting. That's me. I'm quitting. I'm going professional. I says, that's me. I'm not boxing amateur anymore. It's too. It does my head and it's corrupt.
What got you back around? Was it your dad?
Yeah, well, my dad, the Italian manager at the time, Claudio, who maybe not friendly with us now, but at the time he was. He came in and had a wee word with me and Billy also. But I just says to him, I says, listen, I don't even care. I'm just going to go out tomorrow, don't care about if I win or lose. I'm just going to go out and try and knock him out. I feel like I could knock him out. No, I was just filming. No, see, before I was looking at myself, I look massive. Like I look 64 kilo or something. I was saying to him. But the Venezuelan crowd, that was phenomenal. Like it was the atmosphere there.
7,000.
7,000 people in an arena. There's pro boxing shows and all go there, and they don't even fill out as much as that. And they were going mental. It was Venezuela, and I was just boxing like mad. I ended up winning the fight, and I'd planned after. I told him this. I had planned after to go to the judges because that was me done amateur boxing, and I knew I hadn't qualified. I thought I hadn't qualified. I'd planned to walk around the judges and go like out there and all the autumn, like just give the finger to them all because I didn't want them to do it no more. But then I seen him. I got out of the ring. I was so the fight was so took so much out of me. I couldn't even do it. I just put my hand up and clapped to the crowd because it was fantastic. And I got out of the ring and I seen him run over to me. And I starts going, you've qualified. The Azerbaijani lost, he lost. And me, what? Don't be lying to me. Don't be lying to me. They started shouting. And no, my dad shouted at me, you better not be lying, because he knows he's a lick. And my dad's a scary voice when he said that stuff. He looked at my dad and just ran away. He ran away.
I myself, I maybe didn't win then. I ran away, I thought I got killed.
But then he ran back over and hugged each other, started jumping up and down. And I was just, I can't describe it. Like I felt like falling to the ground. I was that, just, it was probably one of the best feelings I've ever had in sport. And I went over and I was talking on the Venezuelan TV, and I was just like, I want to thank the whole of Venezuela. I want to thank them all, the brilliant atmosphere, and I hope he gets the Olympics and stuff, and I'll see him there and stuff like that there. But I was just like, I was drunk because of the happiness, you know what I mean? And definitely has to be one of the best feelings I've ever had in sport. And that was the closest I ever came to quitting amateur boxing. I had things planned. I was going to do judges and stuff, which I'm completely glad I did not do now, because I probably wouldn't be world champion if I'd done that, you know what I mean?
How amazing, Paddy, to be that far away from home in Venezuela, of all places, to have your friend with you and for both of you to book your place in the Olympics.
It was brilliant because not only is he a teammate, but he's my friend inside and outside the ring, outside boxing too. So it was just great. And it was even more special because he qualified too. Both of us qualified. We have a long flight home, long journey ahead of us home, and both of us done what we decided to do. And you know, it was all the travelling, all the grueling training, all the being away from home. It was worth it in the end. Finally, we had the outcome, which was in our favour. You know, it all worked out. It was great.
Michael, the European gold in Bulgaria, following John Joe Nevin there, and then that moment of history in Doha. The closer you were getting as it went on, did you sense that, you know, this was happening? Were you thinking about being the first Irish boxer to win a world gold, or was that in your mind at all?
No, wasn't even thinking about it. See, for the Europeans, right? I was only back from a family holiday on the 20-something of July, and the Europeans started on the 6th of August. So I had only got back, and I says, Billy was ringing me, he says, you're going to go, I'm going to send Kurt here. And I was like, well, Kurt can go, and he'll probably, I think he's good enough to go and qualify for the Worlds and possibly qualify for the Olympics. So do I want to risk that there, and I have to box off and make more work for me? I says, no, I'll just go, and listen, I'll go to win it, but I'm only training well like 2 weeks here. And I was training on holiday anyway. I was doing runs. I wasn't really doing it. I didn't do any boxing at all. I was just running. And running fitness is completely different than being in the ring fitness. So I was running about, and I was doing 10K, 14K, 8Ks, all between that there. And I came back anyway. So I went back in, was doing some training, some sparring. Went over to GB with the team. We went on squad training over there, and I had a few spars. Didn't really feel my best, but you know, I was happy enough for where I was at. Started to get my fitness started to come back to me, and I just believed I was going to go to the Europeans and win gold. I says I only go to win gold now. If anything else is an understatement for me. You know, I have to win gold. The gold is the only thing I can win. If anything else does not matter to me. So I went there anyway, and I just believed to go and do it. And even though some performances weren't the best because I had only come back, only had 2 weeks training. Plus I was coming back from a WSB format, which was longer rounds, so my pace was a bit slowed. I was able to work it out, and by the time I got to the final, I was flying and I won it easy. And then I just knew, because that was 2 weeks training, I knew I have 6 weeks here to prepare for the World Championships. No one's going to beat me. And I just knew, I know anyway, because WSB said anyway no one was going to beat me, even though I probably lost. You know what I mean? But still, I just had that belief in myself. But I knew the World Championships were mine, and I knew no matter what was put in front of me, couldn't stop me.
It was strange because he had 2 weeks training for the Europeans and he won gold. And a full camp for the Worlds, and I thought maybe it's full camp, maybe that's him overtraining.
But like the camp and all, there was a point in the camp where I was sparring 2 world champions at the weight above in the camp, Domenico Valentino and Albert Selmov, Russian and an Italian, and I was doing names up in sparring. And after that day sparring, that was a free spar. I says to myself, right, there's a few more days sparring, and I'm not sparring anyone. I'm not doing no more because that's me. I'm at my peak. I'm peaking too early here, but I'm peaking right. That's where I want to be, but too early. So I just stopped sparring. And my first fight in the Worlds, I kind of felt it. No, that I had stopped sparring a bit, not too short. I stopped it because I knew if I had went any further, I would have went over the hill. But I'd stopped right at the time. But it was just hard to get back in the first round, and then after that I was flying. But in the Worlds, the competition was high, but I really felt at ease.
Is he the first male world champion?
Yeah.
He is?
I'm the first male number 1 for WSB.
You can put that to bed.
WSB, no, he is. He's the first world champion, definitely. You know, he's good history. You know, he's done what I call the real flush, Commonwealth Games, Europeans, World, and he's going to the Olympics. You know what I mean? So definitely, WSB is a totally different format, same as APB. There's a world champion for ABB. There's a world number 1 WSB, which I am, but he is the AIBA world champion. So can't take it away from him. And
you had a little chat on Twitter about that, didn't you?
Yeah, we slay each other every day, so it's not for me.
The feeling was, the consensus was, had you been in Doha, the gold was there for you as well.
100%. I know what, because the boys in the final, you know, I was number 1 WSB, and the people in the final were 4th and 5th. You know what I mean? So I know for a fact that them boys wouldn't even last 5 rounds with me.
I said it in the Worlds as well. I said if Paddy was here, he would walk these Worlds, because I've seen firsthand on every WSB fight, and for the last 4 years, what he's capable of doing. And he's just got better every year. People say at the weights you get worse with age. He's getting better with age. I think he's only getting his man strength. I was actually saying to him today, I think you're only getting your man strength now. And he says, I know, I'm still like a baby, like, aren't I?
I still like a wee boy, and still built like a wee boy.
You're at the top of the tree now in terms of, well, not just amateur boxers in Ireland, but in terms of amateur athletes in Ireland. The high performance system when it came along here. I mean, I remember coming down here to visit when Gary Keegan was here in the early days. And there was just this feeling that something big was happening back then.
Well, high performance, you know, without a high performance in any sport, you know, you're not really going to excel, because what a high performance allows you to do is train full time. You know, you need to be good enough to get funding. Once you get that funding, you know, you don't need to work, so you can focus solely on training and being in Dublin and being a full-time athlete. Without being a full-time athlete, you're falling behind. You know, the Russians, the Cubans, they're all full-time. So we were always lacking behind years ago because they were full-time. But now that we have a high performance and we're full-time, I've got brilliant coaches. You know, Zoran Tia, he's the best technical coach in the world. You know, John Conlan, you had Billy Wells, all the best coaches in the world. And my own Jai Story, all the best coaches in the world. And for us to be able to avail their services on a full-time basis, it got us to where we are today. And
it's not just boxing coaches, there's a lot more to it as well. You get access to experts in other fields.
Psychologists, you have dietitians, you have strength and engagement coaches. No, they all come together and they build, which is now the successful house team.
It brought this unbelievably talented group of athletes who had obviously the natural ability, but the high performance seemed to bring them to another level, to bring them above maybe even what they thought they could do.
Yeah, definitely, I agree, you know. I believe it's more the coaching than anything, you know. I think the services could do a lot better. And people think the high performance, they have the best dietitians, they have the best physios, they have the best... We don't, you know. Compared to a lot of sports, our diets are terrible. And that's one thing I always try to improve on, is my diet. And it's you find it's not the best here. I'll just keep it at that. It's not the best here, you know. It's not really... compared to the GB squad, they have all their meals made, they have everything lined out, what their target should be on weight and stuff, and what food, what times.
So there's improvements you'd like to see made?
Oh, there's massive improvements needed to keep the talent coming, because we have been lucky here in Ireland. They've been hit with a major bunch of talent for the last, we'll say, 8 to 10, would you say? Around about that, was it? 8 to 10 years. And then you've got Zor, who by miracles came to Ireland and helped us excel even more. So Once that talent goes, where does Irish boxing go? You need to have the backup systems in, and they're working away. But you need to have the right people giving the right advice on diet, strength conditioning, and all sorts of that stuff.
As well as all the successes in the ring, and they've been fantastic, the big story this year has been Billy Walsh. When did you first find out that there was a chance that he might be going?
I found out when I was in a training camp in Marbella, Macklin's gym, Marbella. And,
No, I found at the start of the year when he said it first time.
yeah, but I thought it was only hearsay. But then once one of the coaches says like Billy Walsh could be leaving, you know, before the World Championships, I was like thinking in my head, geez, so you guess he could be leaving then, you know. But it never fazed me because like it doesn't really matter who's in my corner because I have a game plan in my head. You know, people will advise me what to do, but I always have my own game plan in my head. So, you know, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck could be in my corner. Say as long as I give me water, that's all I need. But you know, obviously he was a great leader. Irish boxing, you know, he's brilliant at picking the right tournaments. You know, where to peak and all that. There, he's brilliant.
He was a great manager.
Great manager, but now that he's gone, you know. With other great coaches there, that they can fill his boots in the morning, like no doubt about it. But you know, obviously is a loss.
Big shoes to fill. Like you can't. It's going to be hard for anybody stepping in the Billy's role because they'll always be compared to Billy. Yeah. And this golden phase of boxing, you know, it's going to be very hard. But I think the right man in Zora Anthony is the perfect man to do it.
Before we talk about Zora, did you know the ins and outs of the Billy situation as it was unfolding?
No, well, I didn't really know the ins and outs about it. But once he had gone, it wasn't even a week after the World Championships. So for me, I was just like, what about me? Yeah. I mean, that's like my whole World Championship. I was expecting sponsors and all that type of stuff to come in after the World Championships because like how big it was and first Irish man ever, but it kind of just got pushed aside because of the Billy situation. So I'm still a bit resentful of it all, though. It's still
the way it was handled.
The way it was handled and the way, like, if he was going to do it, maybe hold off a bit longer, let this die down and then do it. But I suppose for him, it was the perfect time because he's going out on top. You know, they can't hold him back in. If he's going out on top, he can maybe use it as a bargaining chip, but it actually didn't happen for him. So either way, it would have worked for him. If he had stayed, he had gone, he's going out on top.
Have you spoken to him since?
Yeah, we've seen him here at the weigh-in for my brother's last fight. So I spoke to him, he gave us a hug and stuff, and says he's doing this here and maybe get a few camps over in America, and we were more than happy with that.
Have you spoken to him, Paddy?
Yeah, the same. Michael too, and plus he texted me away and all. And he actually the morning he was leaving, he texted us all. He says, "I'm going to miss you all," and then at the end of it, was even Paddy. You know what I mean?
You got a special mention.
Because I had him tortured every day. We had like a love-hate relationship. He would say something, I would disagree with him, and we used to fight all the time. But like it was not serious, but we used to argue all the time. But
it was sad. It was sad. I'm going, you know, like he rang us. I was got it from like at the same time, you know, even though it was like no World Championships, not Billy could have held off, but at the same time, we did have a close relationship as like friends more than coach. Like we had a friendship as well, even with Paddy too. Like he rang us, and you know, when he told us, and when he had officially left, I'd rang him and he didn't answer, and he rang me later on. I was talking away to him. He broke down crying though. And I was sitting in the car with missing. I was like, oh, I'm going to start crying here. Like, I'm an emotional person, like, so I was like, no, don't start crying here. But he was crying. I just felt bad for him because it did seem like he wanted to stay. But you know, in fairness, if he could have stayed, he could have stayed. But he had great options of going to America. He had, as he says in the paper, it's a dream come true. You know, it's a fairy tale ending for him. So best of luck to him. But it was emotional seeing him go.
Let's talk about Zora. You said it was by some miracle he landed here and he ended up coaching you guys. How quickly did you realise that this guy is something special?
Right away for me, you know, I came on the team as when I was sparring him. I was still a counter puncher. I wasn't as much. I didn't move as much, but I was still just a counter puncher. And then sparring with him was bringing me on. But Zora was learning me all the wee things inside, what to do, all the wee moves, and how to get inside in the rolls and stuff. Even though I was learning that in the gym, but he was just, I was maybe a bit more tuned into him because I was like, whoa, this guy, he's been all over the world doing this stuff and he knows what the crack is. And I was learning nothing. Like, we had a lot of fallouts as well. When I was only on, well, after I'd qualified, because I was going into the camps and like I was just going sparring people and sparring, like at school sparring, like people aren't going full whack. I was just going in and just trying to bother people all the time, and he was shouting at me because I was telling him to shut up and stuff, and I just kind of disrespected him, and I felt bad at the time because then he wouldn't really talk to me, and I wasn't learning anything of him because he wouldn't tell me anything. But when I ended up apologising, and then from then on, you know, he always says about my emotions. I need to control them because he knows how emotional I am, and it just all the time, every time I'm in the gym with him, he always has something different to show you and always something to learn. But anything you do, he will spot any bit of footwork. Like if you're standing here and you're throwing a punch, he will even see where your back foot's going, where it's going. It's like he has eyes everywhere.
What's he like? Because when the general public, when we see him, it's usually after a fight and one of you has won and he's just standing in the background, happy out, patting you in the back and not saying a whole lot.
He's very funny. He actually is very funny. You know, every day he tortures me. He gets me to say some quote from Braveheart. Oh, go on, Paddy, say it. So I don't even say it properly, and he just. You see him, he quotes Scarface, he quotes films.
Borat.
He quotes Borat.
Yes, boy,
and actually, we were in the World Championships in Milan, and we were getting in the lift, and there was Celtic standing inside, and lift fit to close, and he shouted out, Borat! And all the Celtics were going mad on his arms, and the lift flapped his head off. So he's a very funny character, so he is too.
The Team Ireland, you've been there, Paddy. What's that like? Because you've got people from completely different walks of life who compete in completely different sports, and yet you're travelling all under one banner.
It's unbelievable. You know, it's the best athletes in Ireland at that time. You know, the cream of the crop in our Irish sport, all competing at the same tournament together, living together in the big village. You know, so you're sharing with the best in Ireland, and you know, not only that, there you're competing for your country, which is probably one of the proudest moments you'll have ever in your sporting career. So it makes you try a bit harder because you're doing it for your country.
Give us an idea of what it's like walking around with Irish athletes, but from different disciplines.
It's fantastic. You know, it's funny at times because people be really concentrated on their sport, no, like pure focus, no messing around, no, see, I'm here for business stuff. But the last Olympics, me and Paddy just had a laugh. Like we made the Olympics fun and enjoyable for ourselves, and I think that's what more Irish athletes do need to do. They don't need to be so serious at times. It is great being with them, and they are good crack. There is crack, but like I know when their game heads are on, they're on. But I think that only comes in the time, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours before competing for us. But like we were flying about the Olympics on bikes. Like we stole Team Ireland's bikes. They're what do they call them?
I didn't see them. I borrowed my one.
the chef of the mission and stuff. We took their bikes, stole the key and got the lock or something and changed the codes. We got the bikes and we're flying around the village, going to like driving past the students, going, "Oh, good day, mate!" and all this here, going absolutely mental. They were shouting at us like mad. So we were probably whipping a few people out of their zones, but we were just having crack. And I think that made the Olympics more enjoyable and a lot easier for me. The last Olympics, because being with him was probably the best thing because he's been there and experienced, and he was like my mentor in the Olympics, and he was telling me what to expect and what not to expect, and it was great to have him. But at the same time, he made the fun a bit more funner, having someone to do it with, and like someone who shares my kind of sense of humour. Would
you have sat down and spoken to any of the other Irish athletes and just gone through, you know, this shared experience as it was?
Yeah, I was talking to nearly every Irish athlete there because I was interested in like what they do on the day of their game or the day of their competition, like how they feel and what they eat and all, because maybe that's the same that we do. Maybe I could learn something off them and they could learn something off me. So it's interesting. Not just Team Ireland. I would talk to Team New Zealand. No, I was talking to every athlete. I tortured everyone. All the athletes knew who I was because I tortured them all.
Is that part of it as well, Michael? Just that, as you mentioned, you know, certain athletes might only get to one Olympic Games. So many don't ever get there. That you have to try and take that pressure off yourself a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You have to take that pressure off. You have to enjoy it. I mean, you may never be there again. And for plenty of boxers, they will never be there again. You know, it's very, very hard to qualify for 2 Olympics, never mind 3, like him. So, like, it's something special for him to do that. But, like, you have to go and enjoy it. You have to be there for fun. You know, you can't just come out of the Olympics and go, "Oh, that done my head in. I hated that time in my life." But if you lose, you lose. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. So go there and enjoy it and have fun and just live your experience. Be in your experience. Be there. Don't be somewhere else thinking, what if? Be there, living it at that moment.
Let's look beyond Rio then. I mean, you guys will be turning professional. It's a different world, really, isn't it?
To be honest, the way amateur game is now, it's not really different fight ways and talent ways. You know, the only thing different for me, I think, is the longer rounds and the higher pace in the amateurs. The higher pace because it's shorter rounds. But if you break that down and slow your pace down, 12 rounds would be easy.
Walk the park.
I believe I'll win a world title very, very quick if I have the right people behind me. If I have the right people behind me and they want to have me progressing on at the right pace instead of shooting on too fast, because I'm still young. No, I have the ability to do it quick, but they might want to slow it down a bit. But I would hopefully have a world title in 3 years, I believe.
Is Jamie a big help and a big example to you in that regard?
Yeah, well, he's seen the bad side of pro boxing. You know, even though he's never lost, he's seen the bad side of pro boxing. Promoters messing about, holding money back and stuff, and like because he didn't sell enough tickets before, like they tried to cut his wage, which they did, and it was a bit corrupt, like. And
so that was an eye opener for you.
Yeah, he's had like injuries and stuff. So, and you see, because the difference between me and Paddy turning pro and Jamie turning pro is Jamie turned pro not really with much behind. He had a good amateur career, but it wasn't anything highlighted the way me and his is. His is because we have reached the Olympics and stuff, and I think even if I had a turn pro just being a world champion before, without Olympic Games, not many people would have knew me. It's the Olympic Games that kind of make you and put you on the map.
So it's the amateur that gives you better choices, really. Amateur success gives you better choices as a pro.
If you're fighting Olympic Games, you're on terrestrial TV all around the world, so you're building a brand of yourself. Everyone knows you, so when you go professional, you're a well-known household name. So people will want to go and watch you if you're good enough. So we are good enough with the bronze medals in the house, and we're going to get gold medal here next year. So people will want to go and watch us after we win gold and go professional next year.
We've seen the successes of Andy Lee and your great friend Carl Frampton as well. Is that just that extra bit of impetus you need now to know that you can go out there and do this as well?
Just shows you like how achievable it is. Of Conor Frampton and Andy Lee, obviously they're brilliant boxers, but if they can do it, why can't we? You know what I mean? And if Scott Quigg win a world title, sure, why can't we? You know what I mean? Scott Quigg's his friend, you know what I mean?
If you sell tickets, you'll do well. A promoter would love someone. If me and Paddy just say, because I'm 10 times better, I'm only joking.
Like, just say, right? Nice
if he, I'd fight you any day. If he was bad, right? If he was a bad fighter, and I was a great fighter, but he sold tickets, the promoter would pick the bad fighter who sells more tickets. It's all about money.
It's a business. It's not a sport. It's solely a business, professional business.
And that's why I would like to be champion early, because that means I'm able to call the shots early, I'm able to make money early, I'm able to make it for a longer period of time. And I believe I will be, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Huge admiration for you guys, because you've gone out and you've gone after it, and you're maybe halfway through your journey now, and maybe the best yet to come. Yeah, well, I'm in sport now. I think I've been boxing since I was 7, so is that 17 years, isn't it? 7 to 24. I didn't start when I was 10.
And say you said 7, you're 17.
I said 17 years. I'm 24 now. I started when I was 7.
Yeah, I can verify that.
Get your phone and calculate that up.
I'm asking you. You can't calculate it up.
I got an E in laws.
But so like I've been in sport, the boxing 17 years, and I see another 10, 12 years, that'll be my sporting career finished, and hopefully after that, in my head, I won't have to ever work again, but I'll obviously work again because I want to work. I'll probably want to get involved in promoting. I'll probably want to get involved in housing, you know, selling houses, estate, you know. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that one thing is that I'll be very, very wealthy after boxing.
I just want to stick to doing a lottery every Friday night. You're millions. One day I'm going to touch, you know, for a sack.
You're looking for these.
He sees that going bad. He's lived it. I see a winning ticket. You're millions.
You've got your bases covered either way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Finally, guys, it is Christmas. You're family men.
Yeah.
How special is Christmas going to be this year?
Well, this year's going to be good because my daughter's will be about 19 months, I think.
Should be almost.
Yeah,
should be almost 1.5. As I say, it's not really 19 months. You don't say.
No, it's 24 months. People say
1.5.
24 months.
19 months.
That's 2 years.
Who says 19 months?
If somebody asked me how long it'll be, I would say 8 minutes. I'd be precise.
I'm surprised because I know for once he's going to enjoy Christmas, because this guy is the Grinch. He doesn't like Christmas music. He doesn't like buying presents. he doesn't enjoy anything about Christmas except for drinking.
It's true.
So you're not going to have the Christmas CD on the car back up to
I
Belfast?
hate Christmas music. It just does my head in. I hate it so much. Like, I like listening to like Kylie Minogue and all.
It'd be great to have you on a Christmas
look,
special. Then.
You hate Christmas music, but you love Kylie Minogue.
Kylie was a legend. Like,
What goes on in his head here? I love
brilliant.
Christmas music. I love the whole spirit of it all.
Donald's gonna be really a bit more. Christmas is when she get her present. Like last year's when he was a kid, like, but his daughter and I, the age she was, so like his daughter be crawling about, oh, Daddy, in the wee box and all. My daughter gonna be toppling in her wee car and all. His daughter gonna be a wee box and a wee free bag for him.
It's a different world, though, isn't it?
Ah, it's fantastic. You know, I actually set my Christmas stuff up last night, and had the wee presents that laid up and stuff, and the tree was all lit up. The first thing my baby done was start to pull the tree, and I was like, oh no, here we go. And she has the wee fake presents, and she was rolling it, getting tangled in the wires. And we were gonna have to watch them. She'd probably try and strangle herself here. Gotta watch that now. So child safety rules come in now. You just gotta block it all off. But no, it's gonna be amazing. I love Christmas anyway, because I for some reason I'm stupid and I love buying people things. You know, I'm not like Paddy who saves his money.
What'd you buy me?
What are you going to buy,
I
Paddy?
bought you loads of things. Don't you lie?
That's okay.
I mean, I let him off a debt and everything before, you know, for his birthday present. But like, it's great. I just love seeing, like, I go out of my way to get like all my family. Even though they probably not get me, it doesn't matter. I just love getting people and seeing the reaction of they get the present.
They don't love you. Is that the way it works, right?
Well, just listen, I have enough love to give to everybody, even if they don't love me. You know, like they'll even love you. Like, you know what I mean? You're my mate.
At least someone does, like.